Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, a spiritual user manual for life. This channel is dedicated to reading, unpacking, and analyzing the text section of the book, A Course in Miracles. The objective is to extract valuable practical knowledge to help us live more fulfilling lives while learning this school's curriculum. The sparkly version of the book is used to distinguish between the text and my commentary. The word text will precede the text. The word comments will precede the commentary. Knowledge will also be drawn from the Seth books of Jane Roberts. This video is for the section in Chapter 2, The Correction for Lack of Love. This is Part A. It provides further insight to the mechanics of the mind. The focus now is on the power of thoughts, how we misuse them, the consequences of this misuse. Let's begin. Text. The first corrective step is, know first that this is an expression of fear. Then say to yourself that you must somehow have willed not to love, or the fear which arises from behavior-will conflict could not have arisen. Then the whole process is nothing more than a series of pragmatic steps in the larger process of accepting the atonement as the remedy. These steps can be summarized as follows. 1. Know first that this is fear. 2. Fear arises from lack of love. 3. The only remedy for lack of love is perfect love. 4. Perfect love is the atonement. Comments. In the video for the prior section, Chapter 2, Fear as Lack of Love, we delved into how, due to improper mind training, fear became involuntary. A viewing of it would help greatly in understanding the material of this section. Fear is the result of a lack of love in our decision-making and implementation processes. Specifically, ignorance of the spiritual laws, the power of thoughts, how the mind works, and a lack of considerations for ourselves and others in our decision-making deliberations. They lead to conflicting decisions or failure to act on decisions made. Miscreations and fear are the result. The solution to this is the atonement plan. Text. We have emphasized that the miracle, or the expression of atonement, is always a sign of real respect from the worthy to the worthy. This worth is re-established by the atonement. It is obvious then that when you are afraid you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement because you have done something loveless, having willed without love. This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. The need for the remedy inspired its creation. As long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful. However, as soon as you remedy it, you have also abolished the fear. This is how true healing occurs. Comments. A fundamental truth we are here to learn is, we, everyone, all life, are creations from the same source. This means that all life is of value, equal, and must be treated in the best manner we are capable of. To do less is to receive less. This is the golden rule in action. What you give, you will receive. For many of us, it is only when we are on the receiving end, experiencing unpleasant effects, fear, that we acknowledge somewhere, somehow, something went wrong. Then we look for whom or what to blame. It never occurs to us that we are receiving what we gave sometime in the past. At some point, we have to come to this realization. Then we can start the process of atoning, correcting our errors and misunderstandings, learning and doing better going forward. This is the atonement plan in action. Text. Everyone experiences fear, and no one enjoys it. Yet it would take very little right thinking to realize why fear occurs. Very few people appreciate the real power of the mind, and no one remains fully aware of it all the time. However, if anyone hopes to spare himself from fear, there are some things he must realize, and realize fully. Comments. We are at a point in the course where a primer on the mind is needed before we proceed. The information presented here is what I've extracted from the course, the Seth books of Jane Roberts, and personal experience. It is only a starting point. The mind is the most powerful tool in all of creation. It is used to create everything, including us. And our creation, God gave us all of its attributes. We are all in the mind of God with full access to all of it. Its resources are infinite. There are laws that govern its use. Thoughts are the currency of the mind. They are composed of energy which gives them potency. Through them we convey ideas, build our beliefs. Our emotions come from our beliefs. They provide the energy for action. Our will is our determination. A combination of our thoughts, emotions, and will creates our reality, individually and collectively. We are here to learn all of this. Our bodies are temporary physical extensions of our mind. Its purpose is to enable this experience. Text. The mind is a very powerful creator, and it never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating, and always as you will. Many of your ordinary expressions reflect this. For example, when you say, "Don't give it a thought," you imply that if you do not think about something, it will have no effect on you. And this is true enough. On the other hand, many other expressions clearly illustrate the prevailing lack of awareness of thought power. For example, you say, "Just an idle thought," and mean that the thought has no effect. You also speak of some actions as thoughtless, implying that if the person had thought, he would not behave as he did. While expressions like "think big" give some recognition to the power of thought, they still come nowhere near the truth. You do not expect to grow when you say it, because you do not really think that you will. Comments. Our ignorance of how the mind works and the power of thoughts is understandable, as there is no widely known place where this information is available or taught. The field of psychotherapy, which delves into this area, has come a long way in helping many deal with various mental challenges. However, a lot of this understanding has come through trial and error. There is no one definitive, scientifically accepted source where we can learn of the mind, its inner senses such as clairvoyance or clairaudience, the laws that govern it, its different layers and their functions, the power of thoughts and their proper use. There is a lot we just do not know. Accepting that thoughts have power is both intriguing and thought-provoking. Several thought questions come to mind. How is this power defined? What's its source? How should it be used? What are the consequences of proper or improper use? These answers would go a long way in helping us learn of them. It's also a given that retraining our minds in their proper use would be required. Text. It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a power surge that can literally move mountains. It appears at first glance that to believe such power about yourself is merely arrogant, but that is not the real reason why you do not believe it. People prefer to believe that their thoughts cannot exert real control because they are literally afraid of them. Many psychotherapists attempt to help people who are afraid, say, of their death wishes, by depreciating the power of the wish. They even try to free the patient by persuading him that he can think whatever he wants without any real effect at all. Comments. Many of us are familiar with the expression, "Faith can move mountains." How many of us actually believe that? Is it because we are afraid to believe we have that much power? That raises an interesting question. Is fear serving as a block or limit on our ability? In the previous section, Fear as Lack of Love, we learned that when we fail to unite behind one decision and instead act on several, it leads to conflict, or fail to take decisive action on one. It also leads to conflict. Fear and miscreation are the results. In this equation, fear is the effect, not the cause. The cause is ignorance, not knowing how to use the mind, thoughts, emotions, and will in a unified manner. Having a basic understanding of these components allows us to use them in a united, harmonious manner, thereby unleashing their power and efficacy. This, in turn, deepens our faith, increases our confidence, strengthens our will, further increasing our effectiveness. Maybe even to the point of moving mountains. Whenever there is fear, it is evidence we are using our mental resources improperly. Text. There is a real dilemma here which only the truly right-minded can escape. Death wishes do not kill in the physical sense, but they do kill spiritual awareness. All destructive thinking is dangerous. Given a death wish, a man has no choice except to act upon the thought, or behave contrary to it. He thus chooses only between homicide and fear. The other possibility is that he depreciates the power of his thought. This is the usual psychoanalytic approach. It does allay guilt, but at the cost of rendering thinking impotent. If you believe that what you think is ineffectual, you may cease to be overly afraid of it, but you are hardly likely to respect it. Comments. Could you depreciate the power of a thought to escape its effects? Here's a method that has worked for me. Many times we have thoughts that are very undesirable, scary, or destructive. We try to get them out of our minds by not thinking of them, by force, devaluing them, or replacing them with pleasant thoughts. Sometimes they come back. My solution, which took a lot of practice and effort, is to face up to them. Are they trying to tell me something? If so, I follow them to see where they lead me. Sometimes this is how our inner selves bring to our attention situations that need to be addressed. I then do my best to understand, analyze the situation. Sometimes it leads me to other layers needing resolution. Once fully resolved, they go away, mission accomplished. If they persist, I repeat my efforts to identify and resolve anything I may have missed. If, after these efforts, they still persist, I gently and peacefully replace them with a preferred thought and wish them peace. I repeat this process every time they come back. It can take a while at times. Once I maintain discipline in this procedure, they always go away. Text. The world is full of examples of how man has depreciated himself because he is afraid of his own thoughts. In some forms of insanity, thoughts are glorified, but this is only because the underlying depreciation was too effective for tolerance. The truth is that there are no idle thoughts. All thinking produces form at some level. The reason people are afraid of ESP and so often react against it is because they know that thoughts can hurt them. Their own thoughts have made them vulnerable. Comments. Most of us would not accept the statement, "My situation in life is due to fear of my thoughts." Change it to, "My situation in life is due to the conditions of the society I live in." Approval would be widespread. It is a lot easier and preferred to place responsibility outside of ourselves. Very little of our mental actions we take responsibility for. We are barely conscious of them in the first place. This is a pattern that goes back millennia. So we've been well trained. What would it take, and how could this be turned around? Our spiritual mentors are constantly searching for new and creative avenues to solve this dilemma. A Course in Miracles and the Seth books of Jane Roberts are the latest efforts to date that I'm aware of. These videos are my contribution towards spreading this knowledge. As always, our task is to put these ideas to the test. Determine if they are valid and reliable. My experiences have proven that they are. However, each of us must come to that realization in our own time and space. Thanks again for joining me on this journey. If you've gotten any value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe.